Hello, you guys. Today we'll be analyzing chapters 11 and 12 of Frankenstein before we begin with the full analysis. Now, this is just chapters 11 and 12, but the video after this will be the full analysis. Now, let us begin. So, firstly, the events of chapter 11. So, basically, now we have a bit of a switch where the narrator is the monster. It's no longer Victor Frankenstein. And now, after fleeing the city and villages where he is not welcome, the monster learns to live in the forest. Food is sometimes stolen and shelter is scarce. He does manage to find a hovel attached to a small cottage. He fashions a way to see into the cottage and begins to observe the life of the DeLacy family. Brother Felix, sister Aga, and their blind father who lives in a small house. And basically, if you just like read this, you can like understand how the monster has been like abandoned by his creator, or when you're comparing it to like not the natural way, he's kind of abandoned by his father. And it's it's like you can compare them like to father and son, creator and creation. So basically he's like been abandoned by his father and he has nowhere to go, and now he's just like trying to survive in a world where he literally has no tools whatsoever, and he's just like out there in the world with like no skills. He can't speak, he doesn't know the language, he like doesn't have any skills whatsoever. And this is where he starts adapting and learning language from this family, and the DeLacy family to be specific. And he just like starts to develop as a human being, not as a human being of course, but like as a creature living in a world of human beings. And now analysis. So first, this is a framed or embedded narrative, basically in a narrative inside another narrative. And now we're going to be analyzing some quotes. A strange multiplicity of sensations seized me, and I saw, felt, heard, and smelt at the same time. And it was indeed a long time before I learned to anguish between the operations of my various excuse me, between the operations of my various senses. The monster is portrayed in this chapter as an innocent child experiencing the world for the first time. Like Judy said, it's like a child who has no experience whatsoever, who has no training whatsoever, no one to teach him, no one to guide him. His emotional response to the beauty and wonder of the natural world is typically romantic. The fact that the monster is portrayed as an innocent child sheds light that Shelley portrayed him that way to make readers sympathize with him. Furthermore, she indirectly characterizes Victor as a selfish villain. So basically, by making us sympathize with the monster, it makes us indirectly have feelings of hatred toward Victor Frankenstein. I examined the materials of the fire, and to my joy, found it to be composed of wood. I quickly collected some branches, but they were wet and would not burn. I was pained at this and sat still watching the operation of fire. The wet wood which I had placed near the heat dried and itself became inflamed. I reflected on this, and by touching the various branches, I discovered the cause and busied myself in collecting a great quantity of wood. In this quote, the monster describes the time he discovered fire. And basically, the significance of this quote is the language used. So basically, the words examined, reflected, discovered. So basically the diction, if you want to be more specific, are all scientific words often used by scientists, such as his creator, Victor Frankenstein, indicating the parallelism between Victor and the monsters, basically father son, like the same relation that I previously mentioned, as well as it emphasizes on the fact that they are doppelgangers. Furthermore, it showcases the influence Victor's notes had on the monster's character. Yeah, so I did not mention this in my previous videos. But when Victor obviously ran away with his friend Henry Clerval, I mentioned that, but the monster, of course, stayed in his house or his place of living. I don't know if it was, I'm not sure if that was his house, but he basically got a hold of his diary. He saw all of Victor's notes. And as we know, Victor is extremely scientifically oriented, and especially at the time where he was writing these notes, while he was in the process of creating the monster, his mentality was extremely shifted towards the Enlightenment period. Thus, all of his notes are like really scientific oriented. Therefore, like all of these notes kind of shaped the monster, which made him kind of a doppelganger to Victor because he had so much in common with him. So again, relation between creator and creation to father and son. And of course, this is because partially due to the notes that the monster has a hold of. The monster represents Victor's dark side as well, because as we know, the monster has committed various crimes, such as, taking the lives of others. And we do know that Victor has a dark side. And the simplicity of the Lacey's family and rustic life is held up by Shelley as a romantic ideal, since they live a plain, straightforward life by providing for themselves, co-working on land, enjoying music in each other's lives as they wear simple clothes, gathering vegetables, and the old man's music. Moreover, Shelley uses them to highlight the theme of isolation in the novel. So basically, Shelley's like trying to show the beauty of the showcase the beauty of the DeLacy family's way of living and lifestyle, as a way to promote the romantic element as well, the romantic ideology as well, by the Lacey family, because not only does she use romanticism as the way to um criticize or rebel against the Enlightenment period, but as well as she tries to give us examples of the romantic ideology and like its ways of living in general. And now the Lacey family left society after losing everything. So, and showcasing the fact that if you don't fit society's expectation, you're no longer included. So basically, what she's trying to do is like she's trying to like so basically there's this very embedded theme inside the novel, which is isolation. We see isolation through the monster, due to the fact that he's really different from society, and the monster can represent people who are kind of different in this world, like they're like people that have disabilities, maybe people who are just like they don't fit in exactly, they're not the typical person. So the monster represents that, because usually when a person has a difference, whether it's good or bad, they usually don't fit out, they don't fit in a society when they stand out. And and this is what Shelley's trying to do. She's portraying the monster and making him a representation to these people in real life, and through that the theme of isolation is embedded. Furthermore, the theme of isolation is embedded to the Lacey family, and the Lacey family as well, because it also shows how once you're not accepted by society, how things change, and how society expects specific standards of you, and once you don't reach these certain standards, then you are an outcast, especially in these times when Shelley was writing the novel. Now another analysis, almost imperceptible chink through which the eye can penetrate. So this code basically describes the size of the hole that the monster uses in order to observe the DeLacy family, showcasing that he is an outcast. So basically, even the DeLacy family won't accept him, and they are outcasts themselves. Moving on to chapter 12, we learn that the Lacey family has been exiled from France and Germany. The family suffers from poverty and lack of food, and the monster learns French by eavesdropping on the family's conversations. And seeing his reflection in a small pool of water, the monster discovers himself for the first time and now knows that he is hideous to behold. So basically, this is really important because the monster was not actually aware of what was wrong with him, and why everyone never accepted him, from his crate to the villagers that where he visited the village. He never understood why he was such an outcast. And the monster suddenly learns that the Lacey family is putting up with poverty and hunger, which he was reasoning by stealing their food, of course. He is regretful and begins collecting wood and depositing it at their door to assist them. Then they compliment him, calling him a wonderful person and a good spirit. So basically, they do not know that it's the monster. However, he overheard them calling the person, or referring to the person who's leaving the wood at their doorstep, wonderful and having a good spirit. He dreams that he will someday present himself to the Lacey family, and they won't judge him by his appearance. So basically, throughout this chapter, the monster discovers the painful truth that, so basically now we can see like his innocence unfold, because, as a child, you see things with like such beauty, and throughout time, once you like grow, you get to see things in a through a more realistic lens, which is what the monster is currently going through. The truth being that the reason why he is rejected by society. Shelley is trying to convey two ideas through this event. The first idea is a confirmation of Jean-Jacques Rousseau's theory, which states that people are not born evil. However, society is the one that makes them evil. This theory is very applicable to the monster because he has been rejected by his creator and society. due to his looks, making him vengeful and, seeking for revenge. Thus, he committed crimes as revenge for being abandoned by his creator, making him an actual monster. The second idea is that Charlie represents the outcast of society who may be rejected due to various reasons through the monster, as she sheds lights to their point of view on the world. So basically, just like how the monster loses his innocence, and like how he is represented as a child in the beginning, and how this confirms various theories of the world. So basically, this is just like how Shelley is able to like send messages vicariously through the character of the monster. By discovering the painful truth, the monster lost a romantic part of him, which was the innocence of childhood. Innocence of childhood, again, is a element of romanticism, since he had no longer viewed the world in a simple way, through like rose-colored glasses, having a negative impact on his character. Usually, human beings get tougher and tougher throughout their upbringing, throughout their lives. The gentle manners and beauty of the cottagers greatly endeared them to me. When they were unhappy, I felt depressed. When they were rejoiced, I sympathized in their joys. So basically, this is the role of the role of this quote is to humanize the monster by giving him human characteristics such as empathy, because he began feeling with the DeLacy family. And in addition, it emphasizes the theme of isolation, since the monster was so isolated and intensively craved companionship to the point where he had to eavesdrop on the family and in order to no longer feel isolated. So basically, like these two chapters, they just cover the themes of isolation, and this makes a lot of sense, this analysis, because now the narrator is the monster, so now we get to see his point of view, especially we get to see the elements that Shari is embedding through him, which are the theme of isolation and the romantic elements, because you do know that the monster has a lot of romantic elements embedded in him as a character. So, and we are also introduced to the DeLacy family, who also tell us about a lot about society's expectations and the way society was back then, especially at the setting of the novel. So this is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like it, and the full analysis will be coming through. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Bye.